This conference will now be recorded.
let's complete this, wind up in like next 5-10 minutes, okay, not more than that. I'll just, I
Okay.
mean, the key part is what we are covering in terms of the tools and technologies, so I don't
Okay.
want you to miss on that. And
Mhm.
if required, we'll have a follow-up session, but let me take like 5-10 minutes and we'll complete up. We have at
Okay.
least 8 members right now, okay, and it's also being recorded. All right, so when we put this tooling together, how do we integrate them in as part of our software development life cycle, and what we are learning exactly in this course is what I will go through in this slide, okay. So in the build phase, when we don't talk about planning and design, that's all architecture job, right? That is in the next level of our job levels. So in the build phase, and then you configure the systems, then you have the CI, continuous integration, then you have continuous delivery, then you have monitoring, then you have alerting, then you have I mean, all these things are again mixed with your source code management. Ignore these mistakes because this is created in Google Slides, and Google Slides somehow is hanging. Uh, so in the build phase, to create infrastructure, to automate the creation of infrastructure, we use Terraform. Of course, even before that, we will learn about cloud and how to create servers manually. Only then we'll go through Terraform, okay? But coming to the tooling perspective, we are going to learn Terraform, a bit of cloud formation as well. Okay, cloud formation is the IAC tool provided by um, AWS itself. Okay, so we'll go through that, and in the configure stage, we'll learn Ansible, how to use Ansible to configure your systems, multiple systems at once with different conditions. And in continuous integration and continuous delivery, we'll learn Jenkins. And from the source code management, we learn about Git and GitHub. Maybe, I will not promise anything, but maybe if time permits, we'll also take a look at Code Deploy, which is a tool offered by AWS. Okay, code commit and code deploy. And the operating system, of course, we're talking about infrastructure, but there is also in the operating system, right? In cloud, you don't manage the physical infrastructure. So what is important is the OS. In IaaS services, you have to learn the operating system, and Linux is the predominant choice in the enterprise services. So we'll learn Linux operating system, okay? And yeah, from the monitoring side, we'll learn Amazon CloudWatch, okay? So if I break it into different parts, what are we going to learn throughout our course is this is the high level overview. Okay. From the IT architecture perspective, we learn what is an IT architecture, what is a three-tier architecture, N-tier architecture, what is networking, what is virtualization, all theoretical basis only. These are all theoretical. You need not learn about virtualization when you're using cloud. Okay. You're not going to be VMware engineers. But what is virtualization? How is the how are the virtual machines created? So on and so forth. These things will focus from uh, architecture perspective. From the account administration, how do you create AWS account? How do you manage the services? What are the various services you have in AWS? What are organizations? How is the billing happening? All these things we'll learn. And IAM, identity and access management, we'll learn about AWS policies, AWS IAM policies. How do you create users? How do you give them access? What is a role? What is a group? All these things we're going to learn. From the networking perspective, we learn about VPC, subnets, gateways, security groups, ACLs, and also Route 53 or the DNS part. Okay. From the compute part, we learn about EC2. EC2 is your virtual machines, EBS, your hard drives, AMI, machine images. We'll come to that in our course, and load balancing, auto scaling group, and all these things. Okay. Of course, I did not include the sub components like uh, EC2 instances and the IAM roles and all this. But yeah, these are high level overviews. And from the operating system perspective, we are going to learn Linux. We're going to understand the file system. How do you navigate in the Linux operating system through terminal? How do you edit files? How do you install packages or software? How do you manage processes and services? All these things we are going to learn. And as part of scripting, we are going to learn shell scripting, Linux shell scripting. Okay. And from the infrastructure as code, we learn Terraform and also AWS CLI. From source code management, we learn Git and GitHub also. Okay. Both are not similar. There's slight difference. Um, a huge difference, in fact. From the software configuration management perspective, we are learning Ansible. We'll understand how to install, how to configure, how to run ad hoc commands. modules, playbooks, variables, and inventory. Of course, if you don't know any of these things, don't worry. We're going to go deep into all these things. Then from the CI/CD perspective, we learn Jenkins, how to install Jenkins, how to configure it, and how to build and deploy jobs. Okay, all these things we are going to learn in Jenkins. From the containers perspective, we are going to learn containers, how to install Docker, how to configure, how to create containers, how to run containers, how to create container images, uh, how to build images, how do we create volumes, Docker volumes, all these things we're going to learn. From Kubernetes, I will say Kubernetes is going to be mostly one-on-one, meaning very high level, very, very high level. Of course, we are going to create a cluster. We are going to see how to deploy an application, everything we are going to see, but we are not going deep dive, because if you want to learn Kubernetes itself, it will take at least 35, 40 days from scratch to very deep. But what we are going to do for Kubernetes is we are laying a good foundation with Linux and also containers, which is Docker. So once this course is completed, you can spend some additional time and understand better about Kubernetes. From the monitoring and alerting perspective, more than the tools, I'm going to teach you about the concepts, because tools are dime a dozen. There are a lot of tools, but what I can help you with, what are the various types of monitoring, what is metrics, what are logs, okay? And particularly since we are on AWS, we are going to learn how to use CloudWatch to set up alerts and also how to monitor the metrics. Okay, so this is a very high level overview of what we are going to cover in this course. And uh, and as a prerequisite, what should you have to join this course? You need system administrator rights. You need a laptop, of course. uh, you need a laptop with a system administrator rights, preferably. Even if you don't have, we can figure out a way out, but preferably system admin rights. And it should have at least 4 GB and i3 quad core. Of course, Windows, if you're already a Windows user, you will not have anything beyond this, because it will become slow anyways. And subscriptions, what subscriptions do you need? You need AWS free tier subscription. It is free for 1 year, but you should be careful about using resources. You should not use too many resources at once. That will create problems. I mean, more bill will be generated, you have to pay that. And you need a valid debit card or credit card for creating AWS subscription. Okay, and what are the services you need to create an account in? You have to create an account in GitHub, free, completely free, no credit card, no debit card. Docker Hub, again, completely free. To learn about DNS, you can create Freenom. You can create your own website name. Okay, not the .com, but some tk.ml, whatever. It gives you a free website to create for testing your running DNS. Okay, optional but good to have. And what software you need to install on your system? Git Bash, preferably, which is again a Git software, which is very much required. AWS CLI, which is the command line tool for AWS. And if you want to write your code, it's good to it's good to have Visual Studio Code installed on your machines. Not Visual Studio, Visual Studio Code. Okay. Uh, from the personal perspective, a lot of people ask me, what skills should I already have? As I put it in bold, you don't need any prerequisites for this course. But from the personal front, I would say you would need appetite for learning, the hunger for learning, and quality time for participation. So every day you could log on to this call at 6 a.m., which is what 8:30 p.m. IST, I guess. EST, I guess. Someone asked time in EST. So it could be 8:30 p.m. EST. So you open in your iPad or your phone and just lying on the couch and casually listening to this, and you might as well fall asleep in between. So not like that, but open your laptop, open all the tools. Maybe I will ask you to do something on the class itself. Very rarely I'll give the tasks after the class, but sometimes I might want you to test something, okay, or replicate something for me. So it's always good to log in through your laptop and sit in a proper posture and listen to me. Okay, I know it's asking too much, but yeah. And active participation, what do I mean by active participation? Yeah, you're logged in from your laptop, you're sitting in a proper posture and everything, but what if I don't know even if you're there or not? What if you don't ask me questions? Okay, so I would appreciate active participation also. That will definitely uh, be a big differentiator. So to sum it up, to put it all in a single slide, this course is designed both for freshers, when I say freshers to IT industry, or freshers to DevOps as well, and also to those already working in IT, and covers a wide range of areas in depth. Okay, so we are covering large number of areas also, and some areas we are going deep also. And again, coming back to one question people ask, do I have to be a, you know, a hero in all these things? Do I have to be 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 in all these areas? No, but there are some areas where you should really be good, like AWS cloud, all the IaaS services, um, and you know, Linux, for instance. These are like your, and Git, these are all like your building blocks. You should be strong on them. On top of it, you could be like a 7 out of 10 on Terraform, and let's say a 8 out of 10 on Ansible, but maybe a 6 out of 10 on CI/CD. That is still fine. Okay, or you are 9 out of 10 on CI/CD and 7 out of 10 on Terraform, but somewhere around 4.5 to 5 on Ansible. You know the concepts but did not implement properly. That's also still fine. Okay, but if you are 4 by 4 on all the areas, 4 out of 10 on all the areas, that's not a great thing. You need to prove your excellence in at least one of the topics in the interview. Okay, so keep that in mind. uh, so again, there's a lot packaged in this course. It's all about your focus, your appetite, and how do you take it up and learn is up to all up to you. Okay. While this course offers a lot to learn and upskill, it is your enthusiasm to learn and practice that takes your career to the next level. Okay, so you might not become a DevOps engineer immediately after this course. After this course, also you have to start practicing for a few months. You have to start attending interviews. You might get rejected in some of the interviews. Everyone gets rejected in the interviews. Even I get rejected in the interviews because their skill set might be something else. My skill set might be something else. Okay, and some companies might be very particular about some particular tools. You might not have it, but you should not be disappointed. You should try on for other companies. If the interviewer is sensible, for example, instead of GitHub, we might be using GitLab or Azure DevOps or something else. But that doesn't mean you don't know the concept of using source code repository, right? If you understand Git well, you can use GitLab, Bitbucket, anywhere it's the same. But some companies or some interviewers particularly, they are particular about only X set of tools. Okay, you need not bother if you're rejected in such interviews. You should keep trying. Okay. Yeah, that's about this demo. Thank you so much. And I know it's kind of a uh, multiple interruptions. There were people at my home. I was distracted, and and also my computer also was unresponsive at a time. So thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, I'm still here. If not, we can meet from Wednesday. Okay. Um,
So, Kiran, total how many services you're going to cover in AWS?
uh, I do not have a list, but um, as I said, we are focusing on IaaS services. We're going to go in depth in EC2. Okay, we're going to cover S3 in depth. We are going to cover EFS. We are going to cover Route 53. We are going to cover VPC in depth. We're going to cover IAM. We are going to cover Lambda service. Okay, we are going to cover RDS. Yeah, these are, and of course CloudWatch, uh, and CloudFormation as well. AWS CLI is also a service if you think of it. Okay, it's a developer service, right? CloudWatch, yeah, CloudFormation, a bit of CloudFormation as well.
Okay. Okay. Actually, I'm having around 15 plus years of IIT experience. So, I would request you to provide some real-time experiences so that once we once we get into through the interview and join the company, we should not face any difficulties. Like very basic things like how to debug the code or like how to, we try to cover in those areas, not only about like covering the basic things.
Okay, what do you mean by real time?
I mean, like we don't know, for example, if they're given any task, I mean, we should not see the blank face, like how to start, where to start, and how to, for example, how to debug the existing code, how to watch it, how to log the I mean, how to watch the logs, everything. So those things very basic we need so that, and we should not face any difficulties in test and understand the existing code or existing functionality.
See, um, debugging, no, uh, because which application are you going to learn debugging?
I'm just telling an example because I do not have any idea about this AWS or list. DevOps.
Yes,
Like
yes.
actually,
Okay.
initially when long back I worked as a Java developer, so we used to have
Hmm.
any debug the code or like we had
Yeah,
some using
yeah.
similar just
So yeah,
example.
yes. I got your point. Okay, so if you are a developer, see, the reason I said, because there are a lot of languages, that's a development job. Okay. So you know, it's about, yeah, you all the scenarios I'm going to talk about are real time scenarios. Okay, I'll give you tasks that that I get as tickets in my uh, I mean, I'm not giving my task to you, but Sam,
Okay.
the same kind of tasks I give you. um,
Okay.
or I'm going to create CI/CD in such a way that how it is done in production, but I can't get the production code to you. We can't replicate the production environment, but we are going to
Yes.
go as real as possible. So you will
Yeah.
have all the idea of, for example, from AWS side, you will not worry about the basics. Okay, you will understand all the things. That's why the first 1.5 week we are going to spend on theoretical basis only, understanding what is a virtual network, what is a network, what is CIDR, okay, what is DNS. I don't think anyone else covers in depth in this space of DevOps. The first 1.5 weeks will be, either boring for you or more interesting, because I'm going to talk only about the theoretical sense of IT infrastructure, you know like very very basics. But that those are the things that will help you in your real time scenario. Okay, so tomorrow when you get a question like, we need to create a VPC with so and so CIDR. VPC creation you can learn from online, but the CIDR part is something I focus on it. I mean, the network range which you have to choose and why you have to choose, all these things I cover in depth. Okay, yeah, definitely our course is as real time as it's possible, but we have to learn everything in single bits and pieces first, and together you will have to join them as part of your learning. Okay,
Okay.
because I cannot give you a live project and say, let's from day one let's start doing the project, because you don't even know what is an operating system, or let's say you don't even know how to configure an application in the operating system. What's the point of doing that from the day one? We are going to learn bits and pieces in the beginning. We are going to eventually mix all them together. Okay, so as we go
Okay.
after Terraform, anything we are going to do after Terraform, we are going to learn after Terraform. We are going to create the infrastructure for that using Terraform only. Okay, once we learn AWS CLI, we'll mostly try to do everything through AWS CLI and not through AWS portal. Like this we are going to do incrementally. Okay.
Got it. Thank you. So total, how many days course this is? 2 months or like?
It would take around 10 to 11 weeks, provided we don't have too many breaks. But
Okay.
that's my weakness, and also good thing, or I don't know what it is, but I don't really focus on the number of days. I focus on
Okay.
the concepts and how well you're getting it. So it's
Okay.
really, you could take 10 to 12 weeks also, sometimes almost 3 months. Okay. And I would be
Okay.
honest with you, like, due to my work compulsions or home compulsions, there might be sometimes I might take breaks, right? Okay. So yeah, yes, in that time that also might lead to, like, I don't know, if I fall sick, or some medical emergency at home, I might take breaks for 2 to 3 days. So that will also extend, but not much. I don't like to take too many breaks also, but just giving you, setting the expectations. Okay, so you could prepare for 3 months in this course. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. I just want to find out how long will this course take? How long?
Hey,
So,
Regan, so every day we're going to have it, I think 6 a.m. IST is about 8:30 p.m. EST. Um, and every day we have it for about an hour, and it's going to take about 45 to 50 sessions in total. So you could think of it as, mm, 10 to 11 weeks at the minimum, unless we have some breaks due to my personal reasons or whatever. So we could think of it as about you know 12 weeks course with 1 day every day. Does that answer
uh,
your question?
not really. I just want to know the days. Now we're talking about
Okay, Monday through Friday.
okay.
So it starts on Wednesday. This I mean, I have other commitments tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday. So it starts from Wednesday, uh, 20th October. Okay, and you could think of it as well as, maybe we should complete before Christmas or around Christmas. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, 6 a.m. EST is 8:30 p.m. Regan.
It's at 8 p.m.
8:30 p.m.
That's Tuesday or Wednesday.
Sorry,
That's Wednesday or Tuesday. That's Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
So the 20.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. That's Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday
yeah.
for you. We
Okay.
are ahead of you. Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you.
Kiran, is it done? That we can, shall we wind up?
Yes. Unless you have any questions, we are done here.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, bye. Thanks.
Bye bye. Hello, Vijay. How much experience you can manage with this course? That depends upon how confident you are. Okay, and without any support, yes, you should be able to work. But these 2.5 months, 3 months, you should pay full attention. Also practice them parallelly, and after this course also you have to spend 2 months at least doing all the tasks. Okay, attending interviews. Some interviews you might be rejected in the first round itself, then again learning from those questions, continuously practicing, and understanding, watching YouTube videos, all these things you have to do. So based on that, say, let's say you already have, let's say, 6 years of experience in the industry, then you could say that from the last 2 to 3 years you're working as a DevOps engineer. At least 2 to 3 years you can definitely put, provided you practice all the things we teach, we discuss in the course. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Kiran. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Again, it's a subjective thing, but again, I could say at the minimum 3 years you should be able to answer properly. I mean, answer confidently. But again, I would again emphasize on the fact that practice, because what differentiates you from someone who practices is, for example, in the interview, I'll ask you what is 2 plus 2. So what's 2 plus 2, Vijay?
So it's 4.
Where did you learn, man? It's 3. Don't you know that? For instance, if this happens in the interview, it's not about 2 plus 2, but something about AWS. Okay, so your confidence will come down if the interviewer laughs at you and says it's not really 4 but it's 3. Okay, so if you have already done the math, 2 plus 2 equal to 4, you can confidently reply, no, it's 4, or at least, that's what I've practiced and that's what I've learned. It might have updated now. I mean, 2 plus 2 will not be updated. Just giving an example. Let's say he's talking about some service and he says, no, that is not available right now. If you have practiced, you can confidently say, no, I did this in version 2.6. It was there. Okay. Only if you practice, you can answer confidently. If you haven't practiced,
Yeah.
if you have only studied, you will be like, maybe I'm wrong. So you'll taking the back step. Then the interviewer will have questions about your real-time experience. So only that's why I'm saying the only alternative to real-time experience is practicing, and more practicing. You can watch a lot of YouTube videos, you can read a lot of blogs, but nothing substitutes for practice.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Hello, Kiran sir.
Yes, Pradeep. You can call me Kiran. Yep.
Yeah. Sir, basically, I have done my BTech in the stream of civil engineering, and
Mm-hmm.
I have passed out in 2019. I have
Mm-hmm.
worked for 2 years in civil industry. Right now, I am working in civil industry. I want to shift into DevOps.
Okay. So I would be very honest. This course will be really good for you as a beginner because we are going to cover a lot of beginner things. But in the job market,
Yeah.
the the jobs for DevOps are not there for beginners. But you can try for something like Cloud Ops Engineer or System Administrator or something. But I mean, as far as I know, maybe you can do
Yeah.
your research. Uh, when they look at DevOps, they would say 2 to 3 years of experience at the minimum. But what can you do?
Yeah.
You can get into some other roles like Cloud Ops or production support or anything, and from there you can move to eventually DevOps. But this course will be very useful for you even if you're trying to enter into IT industry. Okay, not
Okay.
exactly DevOps today, but maybe a couple of years down the line, or one or 1.5 year down the line, you could still do that because you're completely fresher to IT industry, right? You cannot even manage the experience because you're in the civil industry right now, right?
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, that's my take. So you can do your research and see.
Okay. If I put on 2 plus experience also, I cannot able to manage.
See, if you put 2 plus, okay, then I don't know how you are going to. You should be able to manage. See, again, as I
Okay.
said, the same thing I told earlier. Practice. You should be able to
Okay.
manage. Okay, there will be some
Okay.
learning on the job also. On the job also, you have to be on your. It's not like
Yes, sir.
okay, you log in and you know everything from scratch and you do it. Even today, when
Yeah.
I'm working after 10 years of experience, I have to open a lot of Google tabs and search about
Okay.
something. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, I learned only Terraform. I used only Terraform, but in my recent engagement, they want to create me on Azure ARM templates. I work on both Azure and AWS.
Okay.
So ARM templates is something new for me, but I have to learn it. And but once you know Terraform, you understand the concepts, and you will eventually apply that for other tools also. So even if you are
Okay.
using the same tool or different tool in IT industry, learning is constant. Every day you
Okay.
have to be on your even development, or I mean, of course, you could choose to say stagnant, but mostly you need to upgrade yourself every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about coding, Kiran? I- In DevOps, it have more coding.
Coding, I mean, we are not writing application code, but we'll learn some automation. As I told, we'll use Terraform, which will be code. We'll write
Yeah.
Ansible, which is code. We'll write Docker files, which is code, but not exactly like the application code you have to write from scratch. All right.
Okay.
It's not like you're writing from scratch. You have to. You just need to understand the logic and how to use it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.